Welcome. This is the last movements in the traditional 103 long form. We're going to do cross hands and closing. So let's get started. Let's talk about cross hands into our closing. So starting with footwork first. Left foot is forward. We just did a parent closing up and push. We start by shifting a little bit of weight back, and we're going to turn on our left heel so that our foot's going to straight. Then we're going to shift in. Don't stand up. Step, shoulder width, both feet are straight. Settle in. Then we have closing. We're just going to stand up. End of the form. Okay? So the waist turning always affects all of our movements. So we start to the straight direction. We're actually going to turn a little bit of our waist first. Then we're going to shift back and we're going to lean towards what is our chopping direction as we turn on our left heel. So right now, all the weight should be in your right leg. And we're going to shift back, finding center, pick up, step shoulder width. Make sure your tailbone is always dropped. Then we're just going to stand up for closing. Pretty easy, right? Let's do it one more time. Just footwork and waist turning. So from our push, our torso is straight. We're going to start by turning our torso a little bit open. Then we're going to shift and we're going to lean into it as we look towards our chopping direction. Then we're going to settle in looking straight forward as we step in, shoulder width apart. Then we stand up and we return to our original position for our last movement in the form. Okay? So the arms start in push. Okay? The first thing we're going to do is as we turn our waist, our left hand is going to stay where it is in three-dimensional space. Our right hand is going to turn and face the forward direction. From here, we're going to chop out to the corner direction. So thinking about what? Center of the forearm is chopping out. So use chopping, and we're also going to use waist turning and weight leaning into that chop. Okay? So again, just that part of the arms, because then I'm going to turn to show you the other little bit. So from our push, the first thing, make sure your left hand stays where it is. Turn, right palm facing out. Then we're going to shift and we're going to chop out to the corner direction. Both hands are going to be around the same height here, and we're going to be leaning towards that. So if I stay facing this direction for just a moment, you're going to rotate using your shoulders and your elbows. Both fingers point down. Then we're going to bring the arms together. Okay? So let me show you from the opposite direction. Think about it like this. 1 is turn your right palm facing forward. 2, lean and chop. See how the arms are relatively the same height here? Then as we shift back, we're going to point our fingers down, armpits open. Now, the big question is, how do you get that right arm on the outside? Final position should be double ward off. So we know our ward off arms and we're putting them together so that we have enough space to show the meaning. So what's the meaning? The meaning is something's coming from behind. You don't know what that is. You're going to turn and chop, connecting out to whatever is coming from this direction. The other part of the meaning is if something's coming from ahead, you're going to connect out maybe to someone's punch and ward off up so that that punch would come overhead. So when we do the final position, make sure you're not crossing right at the wrists. make sure that we have enough space right here that we can envision someone's arm could fit through that space, okay? So if we do the arms together, I'm going to face the normal direction from our push. First, turn your right palm facing out. Turn your waist and your torso open a little bit. Then we're going to chop out to that corner direction. Then we rotate so that the fingers point down, space under the arms. Now, we're going to cross at the bottom. Left arm actually goes on the outside, and then the right arm comes on the outside. Final position, shoulders and elbows are still sinking down. Double ward off. Cross hands. That only leaves one more movement, right? That leaves closing. So let's do the arms for apparent closing up, and then we're going to do our closing. So from here, we have our push. First, we have a waist turn, and our right palm's going to face forward. Left palm stays where it is. Then we're going to chop out, thinking about center of the forearm. Now both palms face back, fingers point down. Crossing at the bottom, lift up, cross hands. Okay, now for closing. Open up the arms so the palms are facing the sky. We're going to rotate from out to in. So from out to in. Then we relax upper arms, forearms, and then the palms come and sit down in front of the hips like you're sitting on a table. Then we return to our original position. End of the form. You made it. Let's put it all together. Footwork, waist, gaze, and arms. Starting from our push position. Okay, first, turn your waist, right palm facing forward. Keep that left hand where it was. Now, as you turn your waist, turning on your left heel, chop out and bring your weight into that chop. So we're leaning and looking towards that chop. Now we're going to shift back. And we're going to hit this point here where our fingertips are pointing down and our weight's in our left leg. Then we're going to step in. Arms are going to cross at the bottom as we settle. Then we're going to lift up. Right arm on the outside, cross hands. Now, both arms open to the sky as we stand up. Rotate from out to in. Upper arms, forearms, and palms come and sit down in front of the hips. Then we return to our original position, fingertips brushing the sides of the thighs. Officially closing the form. Exciting moments. Let's practice 2 more times. Okay, from push, ready? First, turn, right palm facing out. Now, shift, weight sinking in, lean into that chop. Next, fingertips point down, armpits open, weights in the left leg. Stepping in, cross at the bottom, left hand's on the outside, but then as we come up, the right arm is on the outside. Both palms open to the sky. Rotate from out to in. Upper arms, forearms, palms sink down to the hips. Then we bring those hands to the sides of our thighs for closing. Take a moment and look down. Did your feet end up to the straight direction? That's always an important one. Okay, one more time. From our push. Okay, turn, then chop, weights in the right leg. Come back, step in, cross, and then lift up. Open the arms as you stand. Rotate from out to in. Upper arms, forearms, palms sink down to the hips. Then return to the original position. And then we can even make it official by bringing that left foot in, together, and then salute. You finished the form. Now that you feel comfortable with that, we have to back it up, okay? So we're going to start at bend the bow, and we're going to do parry, block, and punch, up, parent, closing up, cross hands, and closing. So get a good starting position. Bow stands to the corner direction. Arms are shooting out to the other corner. Okay, open up your left foot. Connecting out in front, turn on your right heel. Deflect down. Step, parry, block, and punch. Open the arms, both palms to the sky. Break that grab as you shift back. Both palms sitting up and push. Okay, turn, connect, out, chopping to the corner. Settle in, fingertips pointing down, shoulders width apart, little lean, then standing up, rotate from out to in, upper arms, forearms, palms, sit down in front of the hips, and then return to the original position, little piece of fruit under the arms. Shift, close the feet, and again, make it official. Closing the 103 form. A very long journey, but you made it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, click that like button, subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Make sure to visit my website, ladytaichi.com, so you can subscribe to the newsletter and be the first to know about all the great new things coming soon. And there's going to be a lot of them, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you again soon.